plummeting to around $88 a barrel, down from more than $100 overnight. While the president also says he expects any deal could mean the Strait of Hormuz would be jointly controlled.
By who?
Maybe me. Maybe me.
You want the United States to be
Me and the Ayatollah, whoever the Ayatollah is, whoever the next Ayatollah. Look, and there'll also be a form of a very serious form of a regime change.
I don't think so. I don't think they're on board with that, man.
In these talks, right? Iran says the talks aren't even happening. So what happens at the end of the 5-day period?
Well, Tom, the White House telling me late today this is a fluid situation. Though we have no confirmation from the Iranians, the president says they've agreed to hand over their stockpiles of enriched uranium. He says if there's a deal, the U.S. will go and, quote, take it ourselves. Tom?
Gabe Gutierrez with that new reporting tonight.
Right,
Gabe, thank you. In Hawaii, historic flooding has
like we couldn't have done that already
communities and destroyed homes. The floodwaters, some of the worst the state has seen in decades, and now there's a very real threat of mudslides. Steve Patterson is there for us.
Oh, tonight, Hawaii reeling, and now the fear of mudslides. Recovering from a days-long deluge, surging floodwaters.
Yeah, anyway, a couple things on those stories. Yeah, Trump keeps saying that, you know, that we're working together with Iran. This was the breaking news earlier today here.
Announced earlier, based on preliminary conversations between the United States and Iran over the past 2 days, I've directed the Department of War to temporarily postpone planned strikes against major energy and electricity targets in Iran. They have
while he's saying that, they're launching fucking missiles into Israel and the surrounding countries.
Actually, and very expensive, billions of dollars it costs to build them. One
they
missile,
don't give a fuck about this, man.
Ones, and it comes down to the ground like it was made out of dust.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, like he's over here talking shit about it. Iran says war will continue until their goals are achieved. Revolutionary Guard. There is a consensus amongst officials continuing the war until the aggressors regret and are fully punished, and Iran's goals are achieved. Like it doesn't sound like they're on board with his plan. His fake plan to de-escalate this morning.
As I announced earlier, based on preliminary conversations between the United States and Iran over the...
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. The other one was the ICE agents at the airports. They're not doing anything. They're just literally just standing around, man.
Give me the other side. Give me a good side. Good side. Give me the good side. Come on. I'll get you that.
And what's funny is like they're still pissed that people are recording them.
It's bad lighting.
Like you're going to a place where there's going to be a ton of people around you.
Bad lighting.
And you're mad that people are recording you? Like this is everybody's freedom to do, right? Record whoever the hell we want. Oh, this dude figured it out. He's wearing a COVID mask. Yeah, no masks though. No masks.
The other side.
Yeah, but of course they're beating people up. Doing the usual. Literally just standing around doing jack shit. Yeah, look at the camera. Look directly at the camera, bro. They got Officer Farva over here. Yeah, so that's the news that I had for today. This is from earlier.
A top person, don't forget.
Yeah, who are you talking to?
Wiped out the leadership phase 1, phase 2, and largely phase 3. But we're dealing with the man who I believe is the most respected and the leader. It's a little tough. We've wiped out everybody.
Is that the Supreme Leader?
No, not the Supreme Leader.
So
we don't.
Not much
Well, nobody heard of the second Supreme Leader, the son.
Are these direct?
We have not heard from the son.
You never heard of the Ayatollah, the sequel?
We don't know if he's living. But the people that seem to be running it and they seem that based on really fact, because things they've said have taken place.
Mr. President,
Again,
I don't know what that means.
I know you've deployed.
because I don't want them to be killed. Okay, I don't want them to be killed.
Mr. President, you've deployed.
Nobody
Hold on,
wants.
what did they ask him?
I don't want them to be killed
Mr. President, I know you've deployed.
because I don't want them to be killed. Again,
Mr. President, I know you've deployed.
because I don't.
Oh, why not?
Things they've said have taken place.
Mr. President,
Again,
Mr. President,
Oh,
I
you
know
said,
you've
can you
deployed.
identify him? And then they
I don't
said,
want
why
him to be
not? He
killed.
said, because I don't want him to be killed.
okay, I don't want them to be killed.
Mr. President, you've deployed.
Nobody
Israel,
wants-
like, he doesn't want to say the name out loud
You know,
because Israel's going to
nobody's
immediately
exactly
kill
looking
them.
forward to being the head of that particular country, but perhaps we'll be able to solve that problem.
Mr. President, you've deployed. Who is Steve Witkoff speaking?
Wow. But it sounds like he has no control over Israel at all. Even less control than what Biden had.
Iranian nuclear program,
Yeah, here's the
despite what
actual
President Trump
update.
had demanded or said or asked, depending on who you're talking to and choosing these words. Israel is not going to hold back. Israel is not going to end the war anytime soon. And the reason behind that is there has to be an absolute victory for Netanyahu, for his Likud party, for his ministers in the defense or foreign ministry. They have promised the Israelis that they will bring them this war. They will eliminate an Iranian nuclear program. They will eliminate the Iranian ballistic missiles program. But also they will eliminate any future threat of Iranian missiles directed at Israel. And let's look at that. Over the past 3 weeks, or more than 3 weeks, both President Trump and Netanyahu have been claiming that they've been able to destroy more than 90% of the launch pads as well as the Iranian ballistic missiles. Yet they continue to come in. Yes, of course, not in the same frequency or quantity, but they're still able to inflict major...
You know, about that, they don't need to fire off hundreds of missiles at one time like they did initially in True Promise 1, True Promise 2, True Promise 3. It seems like True Promise 4 has just been kind of a drag out the event and, you know, just casually do them on the hour, every hour for during the nighttime. Like once dawn comes, it's time to fire some missiles off, man. It seems like they always come like around probably like around midnight their time, in certain parts of the region over there, and that's just been a regularly scheduled program now. You would think that with so much bombing that the United States has done and Israel, with so much intelligence that we have, that it would have at least, you know, brought it down to like once a day, but they're doing it at will, and it doesn't seem like it's going to stop anytime soon. I saw another analyst say that, you know, this can continue until the final day of the war, and that's a day that nobody knows. So that means that they basically have an unlimited capacity to continue firing missiles into Israel and or surrounding military bases that are run by the United States. I think where the United States fucked up is getting involved, because in True Promise 1, 2, and 3, United States wasn't a target. I mean, it wasn't really a target until we got involved, and then Iran, targeted the base in Qatar, and everybody said, "Oh man, you can't do that! You can't do that! You can't do that!" And they said, all right, well, the next time, you know, and they said this before True Promise 4 officially began. They said, if you bomb us again, we're going to bomb every single asset that you have in the region. And what did we do? We bombed them. The United States bombed Iran. We made ourselves a target. We got directly involved from the beginning this time. So what did Iran do? They said, oh, well, we can do more than just target Israel. We can target the entire United States, which includes the bases that are surrounding Iran. You know, why would Iran put their country in between all of our military bases? That's crazy. You know, it turns out we just gave them, we lit up the fucking Christmas tree, man, and we gave them every single target they're capable of hitting, and they don't even have to use their best stuff. They don't even have to use their best missiles. You know, it's strategic blunder, in my opinion. We should have let Israel do their own little thing and then bail them out again. That's what should have happened. You know, but now that we got directly involved, we made ourselves a target. Trump's lost billions in assets in the region, and it's a complete blunder, man. It is a total blunder.
Shocked, if not, it's not surprising. It's shocking to Netanyahu, and it's shocking to President Trump. And I guess this has a lot to do with why President Trump reversed his decision. Because if Iran is going to target energy facilities and sites,
and now Trump's looking for an out by saying that, oh well, we're not going to fire on energy facilities until Friday, basically, right? That's bullshit. They're still bombing energy facilities. They're still bombing critical power plants. And if they're not, they're bombing all around the power plants and making that a target. Like the United States is definitely still bombing Iran, and we're bombing the fuck out of Iran. And we have to be. There's no doubt in my mind that we're bombing power plants. We're bombing locations that are critical to their energy infrastructure. Whether we've completely obliterated them and everything's in a blackout, that's to be seen, because they're also on an internet blackout. It's hard to get information
energy
from them sometimes.
Facilities and sites in the Gulf. That is not going to sit well with Gulf countries, and it's going to impact negatively the world economy. But in Israel, they know that so far none of the goals that Netanyahu has talked about have been achieved, and because of that, there's not going to be an end to the war anytime soon. There has to be again a clear victory for Netanyahu. Otherwise, it's going to harm him greatly in the upcoming elections. Despite
and that's also
President
something
Trump
that they posted
demanded
on their news. But yeah, like their goals are to defang Iran, as in completely get rid of their nuclear program and completely neuter their missile launching capabilities, which has not happened and it will not happen. And their other thing was to topple the regime and see regime change, which kind of happened, but they immediately, brought in a new Ayatollah. Like, it's a country of 90 million people with a pretty well-established government. I don't think you're gonna be able to overturn them that quickly. But yeah, there was this one
announcement about talks with Iran. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
Do you think Iran set the Lincoln's laundry room on fire, or was it a false flag? That's probably the U.S. soldiers doing that to themselves, I'm sure.
Earlier today, I spoke with our friend.
Here's Net AI Yahoo.
With our friend, President Trump. President Trump believes that there is a chance to leverage the achievements of the IDF and the U.S. military to realize the war goals in the agreement. An agreement that will protect our vital interests. At the same time, we continue to attack both Iran and Lebanon. We are crushing the missile program and the nuclear program to the core.
And you notice he says they're crushing the missile program and the nuclear program. Those are two of their main goals in this whole war, and they have not achieved either one. So to end the war now is a complete failure on the side of Israel. And so he can't do that, because if he ends the war now, when the elections come around, he won't be in office anymore. He's going to get voted out. And that's what he's been trying to avoid for years now, by, doing the whole genocide on Gaza, doing a war with Lebanon, with Hezbollah, and then, egging on the war with Iran. Is saying what all wartime presidents do, or wartime prime ministers do, is say that, oh well, we can't have an election right now. I mean, the country's in peril. But that's his goal. So if he can't get any of these goals achieved, he's going to look like a complete idiot. Even if he is, the guerrilla's equivalent to a prime minister.
Lebanon. We are crushing the missile program and the nuclear program to the core. and we continue to severely harm Hezbollah. A few days ago,
well, that's
we
the other
eliminated
thing.
2 more.
So now they're making Hezbollah a priority and saying that they want to wipe out Hezbollah and occupy southern Lebanon, which they might be able to do.
2 more nuclear
at
scientists,
least occupy it.
and the hand is still outstretched.
Oh, and that's the other thing is they
more nuclear scientists.
Yeah, they killed 2 nuclear
scientists. A few days ago, we eliminated 2 more nuclear scientists. And
you mean civilians?
And the hand is still outstretched. We will protect our vital interests in any situation.
All right, let's turn to our senior diplomatic correspondent, Owen Alterman, on this.
Yeah, I don't care for the analysis. The analysis is pretty bunk. It didn't mean anything. But yeah, there's reasons that Israel doesn't want to end the war with Iran yet. They still have many goals to accomplish because they've accomplished nothing. And the United States never really established what our goals are. Our goals are basically whatever Israel wants to do. But yeah, here's Iran memeing now. They're putting big giant meme stickers on the missiles. Help me open Hormuz. So you guys want to help me out? Hashtag stupid Trump. It's so dumb, man. It's so dumb. Has he appeared anywhere not under the control of the Israeli government yet? BB, I don't think so. I think that's all he does is appear under the control of the Israeli government. Yeah, here's more stickers. Of course, this war is not only illegal, but also inhuman. Thank you, Prime Minister. Yeah, and then Iran told Trump he's fired.
You are familiar. Hey, Trump, you are fired. You are familiar with this sentence. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The central headquarters of Khatam al-Anbiya. Hey, Trump, you are fired.
Hey, Trump, you are fired.
Familiar with this sentence. Thank you for your attention
Trump,
to this
your
matter.
shoes are untied. He keeps
headquarters
canceling public
of
appearance
Khatam
and he's
al-Anbiya.
dead. They sure are committed to the
you are
fake.
fired.
I did see a video earlier. I don't know if I saved it. Hold on, let me see if I did save it. Let me check my saves on the gram. Damn it, I didn't save it. Oh no, I did save it. Check this out. All right. I might be on board now. Then Yahoo is alive, bro. AI is not that good. Damn! Bah! Shit! That's too good, man. I wasn't on board before. Maybe now. Maybe. I don't know, man. They definitely released a manipulated video, no question about it. The question is what that means. Also at the same time, maybe it's a double fake, man. Maybe the Mossad and whatever the team is, 8002 or whatever they are. Maybe they're doing it on purpose to, keep us busy. Could be, what a double conspiracy theory, right? They can do this shit too. Look at this. Hold on. Where's this one?
Cuba. I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba. That'd be good. That's a big honor.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. Whether I free it, take it. I think I could do anything I want with it. You want to know the truth? They're a very weakened nation, right?
When you say Cuba is next,
yeah, it's. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. What was this one? I forgot what this one. Oh yeah.
Nah, man. I told you I'm not going on a cruise on the Strait of Hormuz.
Come on, Holiday Cruises. It's the cheapest it's been in 2 years. It's the time to go.
It's cheap because the U.S. Navy is bombing the ships. They're being bombed.
Hold on, I'm getting a call. Habibi, No, I said the Strait of Hormuz, not Afghanistan. Afghanistan's way too expensive. The war was like 25 years ago. What do you think I am, Bill Gates? No, the Strait of Hormuz! Are you coming on this cruise or not, man?
I told you I'm not going on a cruise.
All right. Enough detours. Back to the news. Sorry.
Through neighborhoods across the Aloha State and ripping away homes like this one, the living room turning into a rushing river. This house blown away.
Actually, you know what? Let's just skip the news entirely. Trump said he's postponing strikes. We talked
this
about
morning.
this.
President Trump says the U.S. and Iran are negotiating, announcing he'll pause military strikes on Iranian power plants for 5 days after he'd set a deadline over the weekend demanding that Iran fully open the Strait of Hormuz by tonight or face its power plants being obliterated. Hours before Trump's post, overnight, Israel launched what the Israeli military called a wide-scale wave of strikes targeting Iranian terror regime infrastructure in Tehran. Israel's impatience may have come from this. Whoa.
Netanyahu will be the last PM of Israel.
2 Iranian missiles slipped through
I mean,
Israeli
I kind of believe that one way or another, because that it doesn't seem like Israel's very popular right now in the public eye.
to Saturday, exploding into buildings, wounding more than 100 people. The locations are significant and sensitive. Arad and Dimona. Both are near facilities linked to Israel's unacknowledged but widely known nuclear weapons program. Iran hit them after Israel and the United States targeted Natanz, an Iranian nuclear site. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on Sunday's Meet the Press.
Just to put a fine point on this, though, is the president in the process of winding down this war or escalating the conflict?
Again, they're not mutually exclusive. Sometimes you have to escalate to de-escalate.
Iran was preparing to escalate as well, threatening before Trump's statement this morning that if power plants are attacked, Iran will, in a retaliatory action, target the power plants of the occupying regime and the power plants of regional countries. Trump, however, did not make any announcement about the several thousand U.S. troops making their way to the region to force
death
open
would trigger a new PM.
Hormuz.
Or what if they're projecting, and you know how they're like, oh, the new Ayatollah is like badly burned and damaged or whatever. Like, what if like Netanyahu's just like blown up or something, and but still alive,
and potentially occupy Iranian islands or coasts. Iran this morning says
that
if
could
American
explain the
troops do
AI
that,
stuff,
it
right?
will
Like
mine
the
the
AI,
streams,
like
saying the entire
fragments
Persian
and
Gulf
whatnot.
will be practically blocked. There are still many questions that are unanswered. For one, the Iranian military is calling this something of a celebration. They say that this was typical capitulation by President Trump, so them claiming victory. But the Iranian Foreign Ministry, representing the government, is expressing somewhat confusion, saying they weren't involved in these talks. They don't know exactly what President Trump is talking about. So the military, in a way, celebrating victory. The government expressing not concern, but scratching its head somewhat. And there is this outstanding question about the American troops. Are they still coming to the region, or has that changed?
I assume they are.
All right, our chief foreign correspondent Richard Ingleforth there in Israel. Richard, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget you can.
I have to assume the Marines are still on their way, man. Yeah. All right, I left us hanging last time. Here's the end of a very stupid war.
Issue. This leads would back the killing of the younger Khamenei if he proves unwilling to cede to U.S. demands, current and former U.S. officials said. But some of Trump's advisors have encouraged him to just declare victory already. They've also briefed him.
Mike Huckabee suddenly going bald in the middle of a discussion. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't watch it that
Public
hard.
opinion polls showing most Americans oppose the war. Some of Trump's advisors watched with alarm as oil
Rainbow, what
prices got
up,
to
dude?
over $100 a barrel.
Where you been? We're finishing the video from last time that I left everybody hanging with. So yeah, let's do that before we move on.
Calls about the
Also, I think well, not me, but This guy. Maybe he's sponsored by Israel now. I don't know. Not our favorite boy here.
Elections from some nervous Republicans. When the price of gas and oil rise, so does everything else. Given affordability was already an issue, this leads to real challenges, said Stephen Moore, an outside economic advisor to Trump. CNN called the current oil crisis the biggest oil disruption in history. In his first public statement following his appointment as the new supreme leader of Iran,
we're all getting rich.
Khamenei vowed to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed. I've noticed that Trump and the neoconservative journalists who cheer him on have argued for continuing the war to ensure that Iran won't be able to wield the strait as a weapon against the global economy. We've been held hostage.
Look at all this winning we're doing right here.
And this war will keep that from happening again. But this is obviously implying regime change. And the columnists and editorial writers who are perpetuating this fantasy are being dishonest. This is evident from the National Intelligence Council report, and as has been observed ad nauseum elsewhere, there is no historic precedent for regime change through aerial bombardment. This raises questions about what Israel really gets out of this war, if not regime change. I read a helpful and extremely worrisome article from Joshua Leifer,
this is from True Promise 2, man. Come on, dude. Don't play old videos.
He wrote on March 13th, "Don't fall for the regime change talk.
Fool me.
Israel is mowing the lawn in Iran." Kisua Chadeshe in Hebrew. Contrary to the overheated rhetoric of regime change emanating from Netanyahu and his ministers, Israel's military did not embark on this war with the objective of toppling the Islamic Republic. Israeli Air Force strategists know all too well that no modern regime has been overthrown by air power alone. Israel cannot
I guess you could just do terrorism instead,
the total victory of which its most delusional propagandists have begun to dream. Instead, Israel seeks to degrade and deter Iran and its military capabilities so that Iran cannot threaten Israel in the future. If striking Iran had previously been imagined as an impossibly risky endeavor, in the span of less than 2 years, it has come to seem to many Israelis as almost mundane, as has the reality of unceasing war. That makes future Israeli strikes in Iran more likely, even after the current fighting ends.
I did see a quote from somebody that said this is all, like, they already, like, this is in Israeli media. They were like, yeah, this is not going to be the last war with Iran. So they want more, man. I don't know. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? Video unavailable. Where'd it go? Oh, CBS Mornings. Where's my video, dude? What? Oh, fucking. Where'd my video go? Take the video down. Why'd they take the video down? This is on Saturday, CBS Saturday. They changed the name of it? Why is it? This is not the same video. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is okay, well, I guess I can't watch that video. That was 3 days ago. It should have been from 2 days ago. Should have been in here. But they took it down. That's crazy, man. The hell? The hell? Alright, anyways, here's AIBB.
Third thing they did is they fired an intercontinental ballistic missiles 4,000 kilometers right into Diego Garcia, the American-British base. They can reach.
They didn't. They declined. They denied that. Actually, Iran said that was not them.
With these ballistic missiles everywhere in Europe, almost everywhere in Europe. I've been warning that for years. The fourth thing that they did is that they shut down the important maritime strait of Hormuz, trying to blackmail the world with oil terror blackmail. 4 things that they're doing in 48 hours. And I ask the leaders of the world, the leaders of the free world, the leaders of the moderate states, what more are you waiting for?
Hit him with the 4.
President Trump has correctly said that Israel, the United States and Israel in this great partnership, we're fighting the battle not only for ourselves, but for all of you. And he asked a simple question, where are you? And it's time to heed President Trump's call, his leadership, and his vision, not merely for our sake, but for your sake.
Why don't you marry him already? Yeah, this is definitely consent being manufactured to continue war with Iran, basically. Saying that Iran's a threat to the world, Iran's a threat to Europe. Look at them. They almost bombed our beautiful base, Diego Garcia, that holds the B-2 bombers. You don't want that to happen. You don't want them. They could have bombed. They could have bombed Germany. Can you imagine that? That's crazy. Yeah. So this came out a few days. Yesterday. Sorry. Yesterday morning, and then yesterday you also saw the news running with it, as well as this morning until Trump started making his stupid claims that that the war is going to be pulled back and whatnot. There was claims in the news that what if Iran bombs Europe? They can reach this far away. Like there's no proof that happened. But also they also declined that was them. Anyways, how will this war end? Actually,
enemies advance.
I would like to know.
People often imagine armed conflicts being won or lost on the battlefield. Armies advance, enemies retreat, and eventually one side wins. But modern wars rarely end that way. They end when 3 things start breaking at the same time: munitions, markets, and midterms. These pressure points determine how long hostilities can realistically continue. In the first 5 days of this war, the United States burned through roughly 800 Patriot interceptors. Once munitions begin to run low, commanders must face difficult choices. They can either slow the pace of operations or redeploy assets from elsewhere. The Pentagon
you hear about
has
Diego
opted for the
Garcia?
latter.
Yeah, we did. Well, I just talked about it, man. You must have stepped away.
It is cannibalizing missile systems across Asia Pacific to sustain combat operations.
Allegedly, Diego Garcia was a false flag.
This video shows 6,000.
And also, Iran denies that was them.
Launchers being removed from the US base in South Korea and being redeployed to the Middle East. Markets, however, don't care about battlefield victories. They're concerned with stability. If investors believe a conflict might escalate into a prolonged crisis, they begin preparing for the economic consequences long before those consequences fully appear. Data centers shut down, shipping companies change routes, capital starts moving towards safer assets, and so on. The closing of the Strait of Hormuz, for instance, doesn't just affect fuel prices. It ripples through freight, food, housing, and even water infrastructure. Modern life rests on stable energy flows, and once those begin to fluctuate, the effects spread outward. So, while military planners focus on operational objectives, political leaders must also consider how the conflict is upsetting inflation, energy prices, and the broader economy. Even superpowers must negotiate with reality. We may be living in what feels like the most anxiety-inducing era in recent memory. Not necessarily the most dangerous period in history, but one that often feels that way. Between alarming headlines, endless commentary, and the temptation to keep doom scrolling, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by everything happening.
There's a commercial!
I caught myself in that spiral.
Get out of here. BetterHelp's What the fuck?
The first pressure point in modern warfare is munitions. Everything hinges on this. At first glance, the US military appears almost limitless in firepower. Precision missiles can strike targets hundreds of kilometers away, satellites track movements in real time, while air defense systems intercept rockets mid-flight. It almost looks as if advanced militaries can simply keep fighting for as long as they want. But there is a quiet reality behind all of this. Modern weapons are extraordinarily difficult to produce. A Tomahawk missile is not just a metal tube filled with explosives. It contains specialized electronics, advanced guidance systems, and components that come from long supply chains. Many of those parts are produced in small quantities by only a handful of manufacturers. The same is true for interceptor missiles, long-range drones, and precision-guided bombs, which means these weapons cannot be replaced quickly. At the start of a conflict, this problem is easy to miss. Militaries rely on stockpiles built up over years.
We just
Those
blow
reserves
everything up.
allow them to sustain a high tempo of strikes in the early stages of a war. Missiles fly, air defenses intercept, and so commanders operate as if supply is not an issue. But stockpiles don't last forever, and once they begin to shrink, the war starts to run into industrial constraints. Factories cannot scale production overnight. Doing so would require time, skilled labor, and, above all, multi-year contracts with suppliers.
Oh, how did they do it in World War II, man? They dropped a lot of bombs, alright?
The US Navy uses it to shoot down ballistic missiles. Depending on the variant, each
we always talk about World War II like it lasted like 2 days.
That price tag reflects its complexity.
That shit was years, man.
The missile must detect a ballistic warhead in space, track it, and collide with it at several kilometers per second using a kinetic kill vehicle. It's essentially a small spacecraft designed to destroy another object traveling faster than a bullet. But because of that complexity, the production of SM-3 missiles is limited. The exact number is classified, but they're produced in relatively small batches, often only dozens per year, depending on the Pentagon's procurements. Another example is the Patriot PAC-3 interceptor, one of the main missiles used by America and Israel to shoot down Iranian missiles. Each PAC-3 interceptor costs roughly $4 to $5 million.
So here we're talking about conspiracy theories earlier, right? Here's my conspiracy theory. Israel is letting civilian areas get hit so they can use that in the media to gain favor because they know the war is not going their way. And so they're going to let their civilians, they're going to let their civilians die or their civilian areas get damaged at the very least. So not only will that preserve interceptor missiles, but it'll gain them favor in the media. That's it only makes sense when you look at it from the grand scale of things, right? The other one is you don't see like the actual nuclear reactor getting hit. You don't see often that like Haifa gets hit, but not really any you don't really see a lot of damage happening at Ben Gurion or downtown Tel Aviv.
However, in spite of its widespread use, production is relatively limited. In 2025,
like they're letting it happen on purpose.
Manufacturer Lockheed Martin produced around 620 PAC-3 interceptors. That seems plenty at first, but modern air defense systems often
And the other thing is they openly have said that the way the Iron Dome works is if it predicts that a missile is going to fall into an open area, they will let that missile land.
multiple interceptors at a single incoming missile to ensure a successful kill.
Otherwise, multiple interceptors.
In a prolonged high-intensity conflict, this equation gradually shifts the nature of the war.
I think the U.S. is doing the same strategy.
Can burn through months of production.
On the basis that they have in the GCC.
Over a dozen Patriot interceptors launched from the local U.S. airbase during an Iranian missile barrage. That's about 2% of the Patriot's annual production gone in under a minute. No war machine runs this hot forever. The same munitions constraint exists on the Iranian side, though it looks very different. Iran possesses one of the largest ballistic missile arsenals in the Middle East, estimated at several thousand. But missiles alone do not determine how much firepower a country can bring to the battlefield. They
I think
also
it's like 6,000
need
to
launchers.
8,000 missiles. Is
These
what
launch
they have.
vehicles must constantly move, hide, and reposition. The moment a missile is fired, sensors and satellites can often trace the launch back to its origin, making the vehicle itself a prime target. Destroy enough of these launchers, and even a large missile stockpile becomes useless. Iran has also invested heavily in drones, which push the economics of war even further. Systems like the Shahed 136 are rudimentary when compared to missiles.
I think that's
but
been
they're
the
built
biggest
with
problem,
small
right?
engines and
Or
basic
anybody
electronics,
that's doing war
and
right
are
now
estimated
is
to
drones.
cost between $20,000 and $50,000 each, with some estimates
Cheap
going as low
drones.
as $7,000. Launched in waves, these drones force defenders to spend far more expensive interceptors, gradually saturating air defenses and exhausting stockpiles faster than they can be replenished. Altogether, these dynamics show that modern warfare depends as much on industry as on tactics. Victory belongs to the side that can sustain the flow of weapons. Armed conflicts today face another pressure point that did not exist to the same degree in the past: financial markets. The moment fighting breaks out in a strategically important region, energy prices move within hours, transportation costs rise, and investors start reassessing risks. Oftentimes, these market fluctuations happen long before governments decide how to respond. We're already seeing this dynamic unfold. Oil prices jumped as soon as hostilities began to disrupt traffic.
Wonder
near the
what
Strait
made
of
fuel
Hormuz.
become expensive for moving
Governments
things
moved
around.
quickly to calm markets by releasing strategic reserves and signaling that additional supplies could be brought online if needed. Those measures helped stabilize prices for the moment, but the episode illustrates how sensitive global markets are. And this is not just about oil. Once energy markets begin moving, the effects trickle down. Freight becomes more expensive, manufacturing
Everything
costs rise,
becomes more
and
expensive,
inflation
man.
begins creeping upward again.
And it's not just oil, it's not just gas, it's everything. What made fuel become more expensive for moving things around? It's like everything runs off of dinosaur juice, man. Every single thing. It's not just that, your vegetables are grown locally. They're not. Everybody, like especially in the United States, I want to say like the majority of your food is imported either into the United States or from a different part of the country. And that goes for everyone, man. The food that you see at the grocery store, odds are it came from somewhere else. It came from a different area, or if it came from like Mexico, or it came from Argentina, or somebody else that does agriculture as their main export. I mean, sure, we have meat processing plants and whatnot in the United States, but a lot of that stuff gets exported. All that stuff, importing, exporting, it all runs on gas. It all runs on diesel, man. It runs on jet fuel and whatnot.
All these disruptions move far faster than military campaigns, and they ripple through global supply chains.
Yeah.
Fertilizer production, for example, depends heavily on natural gas. When energy prices rise, the cost
Would
of
suck if they
producing
blew up a
ammonia,
natural
a key
gas,
ingredient in nitrogen fertilizers, rises as
no,
well.
LNG,
That increase
one of the
eventually reaches farmers,
top 20%
which, months from now,
suppliers,
raises
right?
the cost of staple crops such as wheat, corn, and rice. Global aviation is another example. The Middle East sits at the crossroads of major air routes connecting Europe, Asia, and Africa. About 2/3 of the global population lives within an 8-hour flight of Doha and Dubai. So, when missiles, drones, or air defense systems threaten regional airspace, carriers are forced to reroute flights around the danger zones. This is how the region's airspace looks right now. Azerbaijan is effectively the single direct link between Europe and Asia. But it's more than just that. The trickle-down consequences don't necessarily stay local. Distant sectors feel them too. Much of the recent momentum in the American stock market and a hefty port.
They're chilling right now, I think. There have been hits that I suspected was Yemen's Ansar Allah. But they have not confirmed that they have joined the war yet. I think they're gonna wait until like the final moments when it's like, oh man, like the tables have finally turned in Israel's and the United States' favor, and then they're just like, haha, bitch, and then they just start blowing up Saudi Arabia's gas fields and oil fields, and then on top of that start bombing Israel. Like and then on top of that close the Bab el-Mandab. Like it would just be like a fucking trifecta hat trick of fucking the worst things that could possibly happen to the United States.
Portion of US economic growth is driven by a handful of tech giants, often referred to as the Magnificent Seven. These companies dominate the market.
For a while, I thought the plan might be to pretend to attack and then actually colonize Yemen.
Of the S&P 500's total return, which goes to show just how concentrated the market rally has become. However, the expansion of these tech giants depends on massive investments in artificial intelligence infrastructure, particularly the data centers that power cloud computing and machine learning. The UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Bahrain have been actively courting these tech giants to host regional cloud and AI hubs in an effort to position themselves as digital infrastructure centers. But Iran treats this digital infrastructure as part of the conflict itself.
Hey guys, you know what? If we didn't have data centers, we wouldn't have AI BB.
Drones have already damaged Amazon data centers in the UAE and Bahrain, which have disrupted cloud services used by banks and companies in the region. Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Nvidia, IBM, Oracle, and Palantir are now all legitimate targets.
Never overestimate the intelligence of the United States.
By threatening or damaging the overseas infrastructure of these firms, Iran is attempting to hurt the digital backbone of the American tech sector and, by extension, a key engine of US economic growth. Pipelines, shipping, fertilizers, data centers, that's just the start. The ripple effects run even deeper into the global economy. Petrochemical production relies heavily on oil and gas feedstocks. Semiconductor supply chains depend on predictable shipping routes and specialized industrial materials.
Capitalism must
Gulf
fall, I do
sovereign
agree.
wealth funds manage trillions of dollars in assets worldwide, so any instability that forces them to move their capital can echo across financial markets. Taken together, these examples reveal just how many critical systems underpin the global.
We need more war so there can be more impoverished. That way we can continue to exploit the impoverished, and then all the rich people can make more money. Yay!
Economy.
Yay,
A
capitalism.
prolonged conflict with Iran will shape prices, supply chains,
The
and
spice
growth
must
across
flow.
the planet. And as those
Capitalism is dumb,
disruptions
which is
mount,
why it
the White
works.
House
Yeah,
will
that is
gradually
true.
yield to investors and markets. Politics is the third and final pressure point. It's less visible than weapons or markets, but just as powerful. While military campaigns can stretch for years, elections arrive on schedule, and that mismatch eventually creates pressure. At the start of a conflict, political leaders usually enjoy broad public support. Governments have room to act, and military operations move forward with relatively little domestic resistance. But that unity rarely lasts forever. As hostilities drag on, questions begin to surface. What are the objectives? How long will this continue? What are the costs?
We don't even know what the military objectives are for the United States.
Whether through
like they've never officially stated what they were. Like what are they? What, fucking regime change? Okay, well that failed.
In the United States,
what else?
The next political clock is always ticking. Every 2 years, Americans elect a new Congress. The next one is scheduled for November 2026.
I wish we would!
In that election, all 435 seats in the House of Representatives and roughly 1/3 of the seats in the Senate will be on the ballot. These
again,
midterm
guys,
elections...
you know, this is why I always say, yeah, it's the new same old people, exactly. But this is why I say that, you know, voting is the least you can do, because it's your right to vote. It's your absolute right to vote. And it's a little bit more available than what we make it and what we make people believe it is. We always say, you know, election day. There's always like early voting. You can take, you know, some time out of your day and, you know, do some early voting. And the way it works is usually you can pretty much vote anywhere in your county. It depends, you know, the rules depend, right? But in Texas, you can vote in anywhere, any election place in your county, in early voting. But that's what I say, like, it's the least you can do, because it does disrupt the balance that, you know, these guys want to have. It's liberals' only weapon. Yeah, you know, liberals will be like, oh man, yeah, just make sure you vote, and like, but don't cause a ruckus, don't protest, don't do anything else, you know, don't talk bad about the you know, the parties, you know, don't talk bad about your candidate. Make sure you know you vote blue no matter who. It's a lot of brain dead stuff, but that's why I say, you know, it's voting is the least you can do. You're granted a right to vote. They make it difficult because they expect you to give up after, you know, 1 or 2 barriers. But yeah, if just voting people in and out of office disrupts or delays things, then that's the easiest way to make a wave, man. It's the easiest way to make a disruption. Now, you know, there are other extremes, more extremes. You can go out and protest, you know, throw a brick, you know, whatever. If you want to do that, if that is your flavor of choice, you know, those things are a lot more disruptive. Or, you know, do some sort of advocacy, you know, get your voice out there, or just, you know, try and educate other people, and, you know, make other people question why things are the way they are. But yeah, voting, the least you can do, and it's effective. It's effective because you're allowed to operate within the system of predefined boundaries that they've given you, and they expect you to not take advantage of that. Not even take advantage of those predefined boundaries that they've provided for you.
Often become
go to city council open meetings. Exactly. Go yell at somebody that doesn't want to get yelled at. They will cower in a corner and be angry about getting yelled at. Voting legitimizes the system, though. Well, fuck the system. Like I said, it's the least you can do. It's the least you can do is vote and disrupt them through voting. The most you can do, like I said, is, you know, go yell at somebody, throw a brick, you know, do what you want to do. You know, be either violent or non-violent about it. However else you want to get your point across. But yeah, get involved one way or another. You know, silence, in my opinion, silence is complicity. So Be loud.
Referendum on the sitting president's policies, especially during periods of economic stress or military conflict. A war that...
Because even if you do vote, let's say you do vote, right? And the guy that you voted for gets in office. Now you can yell at that motherfucker. And he has no choice. They have no choice but to hear you, but to listen to you. Because you can be like, I voted for you. You need to be doing the shit that I told you to do. I wonder how many people are going to vote for Moloch next election.
Drags on too long can quickly turn into a political liability, even if the fighting itself remains far away. Lawmakers, particularly those from swing districts and swing states, are usually the first to distance
But there's also the illusion of
from
choice, right? On the
policies.
like grander policies,
because the war has been
such
lost,
as war,
but because the domestic
doesn't
political
seem like we have much of a
environment
choice on it,
can
really.
no longer sustain it.
No matter who we vote for.
For a
And
president,
so I do agree
that
with you.
creates a dilemma.
You know,
armies can fight for as
the
long as
system
their
sucks.
supplies last, economies can absorb shocks for a time, but political legitimacy must be renewed at the ballot box. So, if the war with Iran drags on long enough to collide with the midterm election, the pressure will not only come from the battlefield or the markets, it will also come from Capitol Hill.
Yeah,
When viewed
and this is
together,
why they want to end the war in
munitions,
September.
markets,
They
and
want to end it
midterms
before the
will
midterms come
determine
up.
the outcome of this conflict. Each of these pressure points
Right
can
now,
shape
not
political
looking good for
decisions.
Republicans.
Iran understands this dynamic and leans into it. The attacks on tankers and data centers are meant to stretch missile supply chains, unsettle global markets, and
But
wait.
even if it's not looking good for Republicans, let's say fucking voting day was tomorrow, right? We get a bunch of Democrats into office. All the Democrats get voted in, and they think that they're just going to be able to sit there and pull a fucking Joe Biden and, you know, twiddle their thumbs for fucking 2 or 4 years and do jack shit. No, if you voted for these motherfuckers, go fucking yell at them. Fucking, you know where to find them. You know where they are. What would Democrats do besides impeach Trump again? Exactly. But, you know, like, you now, like I said, you know where to find these motherfuckers, and you know what they're gonna do. Democrats are more about the status quo, right? As we've seen over the last few years. They want to do, you know, their usual everything's fine, let's go have brunch type of bullshit. Nah, fuck that. If you voted these people in, you have every fucking right to go fucking yell at them, man. And you, like I said, you know exactly where to find them. If you voted them into the White House, you know what house they're gonna fucking be in.
For political pressure in Washington to build. And as these pressure
Just because you voted somebody in, that doesn't give them the fucking right to do whatever they want. They need to abide by whatever requirements you have.
Converge at the same time, they will begin to narrow
That's
Trump's
the honor
room for
that they've been
maneuver.
granted.
Before long, total victory is spun into acceptable outcome. That would be the trade-off. There is a sense of irony in all this. The war meant to weaken Iran could instead leave the country with Khamenei just 30 years younger. I've been your host, Shervan from Caspian Report. If you enjoy these videos, consider supporting the channel on Patreon.
We made the
and click
Ayatollah
the bell
younger.
icon so the next one doesn't slip past you. Thank you for your time, and Saul.
What else we got? Oh, wait, hold on. We need to take a break from the seriousness.
New research is debunking some long-held beliefs on dietary restrictions today. A new study from the American Baked Potato Association has found that it's best to just load her up. According to the ABPA's report, the optimal way for Americans to eat a baked potato
Load
is
that
to pile
sucker
it
sky high
with whatever
and go to
toppings you
town.
can get your hands on.
After years of rigorous testing, it's our professional recommendation that you load that sucker
it
to the
RFK?
brim with anything and everything. Chili, blue cheese, bacon bits.
I'm not gonna lie.
With whatever you want.
I do dump
Just
some
so
chili
long
in
as
a
that
baked
sucker is
potato.
loaded up to here. We also advise not to skimp on the sour cream.
Before publishing their findings, ABPA researchers evaluated more than 200
haircut
other
I do.
forms of baked potato construction, from broccoli-forward topping combinations only to the, quote, clean method comprised of nothing more than a bit of salt and pepper. But ultimately, nothing came close to stuffing that spud so full that a little drool comes dribbling out of the corner of your mouth.
Macaroni and cheese. crispy onion straws, onion rings.
I think I'm done mac
French
and
onion
cheese.
soup, brisket, ham.
The 2.5-hour news conference also featured several additional recommendations for toppings one could put on a baked potato.
Ground beef, braised beef, shredded cheddar, melted cheddar, pinto beans, jalapenos, tater tots. That's not too much potato. God.
Yeah, you know what? I need to get a potato, man.
Thus far, the study's findings have been met with positive
At least
reactions
2.
from around the country.
I was gonna just go home and put some butter on mine like I always do, but after hearing this,
That's gross.
I'm gonna load her up. I don't know. Meatloaf?
Despite the many breakthroughs found in the 800-page report, the study
Meatloaf.
did find that it is still impossible to eat a whole baked potato without it going straight to your goddamn hips. Coming up next, we have the latest on the confused emergency rescue crew working around the clock trying to figure out how they were able to save 4 extra survivors. You're watching the Onion News Network, the only cable news network that watches back.
Oh, what? Oh, is this fucking Israel? That's the... Damn it! I forgot to watch the Epstein one.
Facing intense scrutiny after reportedly failing to properly redact thousands of secret Epstein family recipes.
Fuck!
Critics say the DOJ's most recent document dump has laid bare countless Epstein family.
Why could he not fucking type, man? Why could Epstein not type a fucking proper sentence? Like, every single email is like this. It pisses me off so much. Yeah, anyways. Other news today, I guess.
Chuck Norris fact. He once won a staring contest with the sun. Chuck Norris fact. Jesus could walk on water. Chuck Norris could swim on land. Chuck Norris fact.
Oh, no!
Chuck Norris fact. He once won a staring contest with the sun. Chuck Norris fact. Jesus could walk on water.
I'm ashamed to say that I studied his fighting style, and you know, I have belts in it. That sucks. Anyways,
a new chapter.
Maybe this is next.
Nuclear war. Please nuke me now. I crave the sweet aroma of burning cities, the end of an era, and the start of a new chapter. All my problems will be nuked away.
Yay!
Even if the rent is still due on the 1st. Out was the old and was the new. A complete rebirth. I've needed this so bad, and I know you've wanted it all along. I just want to make you happy. Happy little nuclear warheads, fulfilling their life's purpose after the bombs fall, and my geopolitical fate is sealed. Will you still be there to fight World War IV with me? I'll be sticks and you'll be stones, and the defense industry will make so much profit.
Yay!
I love nuclear war. Please.
Yay! That's how you know I'm not a billionaire. Yeah, yeah. How you can fucking make a coherent sentence.
The war in Iran now entering its 4th week. This morning, Iran is reporting that its Natanz nuclear facility has been hit.
What if we kept bombing nuclear facilities?
The first week of attacks carried out by the U.S. and Israel. Iran says there was no radiation leakage after the strike.
It comes as the U.S.
You don't need to drop a nuclear bomb if you just, you know, use the trigger instead.
Trump said the U.S. is getting very close to meeting our objectives, and it's considering, quote, winding down, unquote, the military operation.
I think that's what we were hoping last time, right?
More warships
was that there would be some sort of nuclear reactor going off.
We are in with the president traveling in Florida, but we begin with CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata in Tel Aviv. Charlie, good morning.
Good morning to you, Adriana. You may recall that U.S. forces first bombed Natanz last summer in Midnight Hammer, Operation Midnight Hammer. Iran's nuclear threat was the top reason that the Trump administration decided to launch a war in the first place. And this is now, as you said,
it was totally obliterated.
The facility has been bombed since the
we have to obliterate it again.
Overnight, new drone strikes sparked an inferno at a logistics hub
much
for the
like
US
myself.
near the Baghdad
Once I get
airport,
totally
as Iran and its
obliterated,
proxies kept
I will
up
recover
attacks
within a
on
few days.
multiple fronts. In Jerusalem, a missile slammed into the old city. Police say more than 4,000 people have been injured since fighting began, with unexploded cluster bombs across
like
Israel, warning the public that the danger doesn't end when the sirens stop.
I already forgot about
US
this.
Central Command releasing this video said
This
to
is
show
Friday, I
multiple
think,
strikes inside Iran. In 3
21st.
weeks of fighting, officials say there have been more than 8,000 combat flights, roughly 7,800
They
targets.
keep
hit,
trying to
including
build
120 Iranian
pity,
vessels.
basically,
But that hasn't
in the
deterred
news.
Iran from launching a
Like,
wave
oh
of
my
attacks
God!
on
Look,
energy infrastructure
Iran
across
bombed
Gulf
this
states,
this
targeting
building.
oil refineries and gas
Meanwhile,
facilities,
fucking
leaving countries worldwide facing rising
we're completely
prices and the
destroying
prospect
their
of having
entire
to
country.
reduce consumption. Pressure building on the Trump
Building by
administration.
building.
As the president
And then just
posted
look at
last
Gaza,
night on
right?
Truth Social,
Gaza,
we're
a
getting
fucking
very
wasteland.
close to meeting our objectives as we consider winding down our great military efforts in the Middle East, at the same time showing no sign of stopping. Among the thousands more U.S. troops headed to the region, another contingent of U.S. Marines on the USS Boxer from California, in addition to 2,200 Marines aboard the USS Tripoli, steaming its way from the South Pacific. Sources also tell CBS News that the U.S. is preparing elements
I did see a graph a drawing somebody made on Twitter. They're like, why do you need to go to through the Strait of Hormuz? Why can't you just invade the island with all the oil on it directly from Kuwait? Huh? Isn't Kuwait not our partner? Well, there is a slight problem in your logic there to that person. You have to get the Marines to that part of the world.
82nd Airborne Division to deploy, which might be part of a special forces operation to seize Iran's nuclear stockpiles. Adriana?
Charlie, thank you so much.
It's a fucking Fallout 4 mission. We're just gonna parachute into the nuclear reactor and take the uranium. Oh my God. Yeah, we're fucking. This video is sponsored by Israel. What the fuck?
Hey students, just real quick, I wanted to give a little disclaimer before today's video. I just want to let you guys know that I filmed this back in 2019. And then 2020 happened and nobody was traveling, so I put it on the shelf. I didn't think I was ever going to have to upload this, but then the sponsor reminded me that I signed a contract, so it's got to go up. As you're watching it, just please remember that this was filmed 6 years ago.
What?
All right. Well, try to enjoy.
A little Israeli propaganda, perhaps.
And roll it.
A little internet comment etiquette. All right, we're gonna learn today.
Mazel tov! Special episode. That's right. Today we are sponsored by Israel, the beautiful country full of beautiful, happy people, ready to welcome you to their land. So go over to Israel.com/bigmoney for 10% off your trip. And now I've got so much to say, but only if it's good comment.
I think that's a real
in the comment
website
section where everyone else loves Israel too. Unless, of course, they're anti-Semites. 68 facts you probably didn't know about Israel. 68, that's an odd number. Why stop there? Play!
When you hear the word Israel, what goes through your mind?
Nothing much.
Israel is a young country. How young? Just 68 years old.
Oh, that's why it's 68 facts. I can't wait to see next year's.
Israel is among the 10 leading countries in life expectancy. Folks here live on average to the ripe old age of 83.
Oh, damn, that's older than Israel.com/bigmoney.
Israel has 273 kilometers of beaches, hugging the Mediterranean Sea, the Red Sea, the Dead Sea.
Oh, wow, that's all Israel. Oh,
are they including Gaza?
According to Traveler's Digest, Tel Aviv is in the top 10 for cities with the world's most beautiful women. And yes, also among the top 10 when it comes to good-looking men.
Also, Quentin Tarantino just moved there. and everybody loves him.
So what was invented here? The technology that allows us to chat in WhatsApp, Messenger, and everything else you youngsters spend your time on. The world's first antivirus software, gesture-controlled and hands-free computers.
Man, I can't wait to visit.
Anti-jellyfish sting gel, laser keyboard, the technology that enabled unmanned flight, cherry tomatoes, and Rummy Cup, the popular board game.
Whoa, cherry tomatoes were an invention? I didn't know that. Thanks, Israel.
Time Out magazine has crowned Tel Aviv as gay capital of the Middle East.
Okay, well, I don't know if there's a runner-up for that one.
Have you heard of the Global Happiness Index? Neither had I until now, but apparently Israelis are in the 11th spot out of 196 countries.
All right, well, if you ask me, Israel's pretty awesome, and I don't have anything bad to say about it. And neither do the people in this comment section.
Love Israel from Iran. I wish I could visit Israel one day.
That's great, bro. Maybe they'll come to you. I am from Serbia and I adore Israel. Best thing that happened to the world after World War II.
God bless Israel. Love from England.
I love Israel. I'm a Muslim from Baghdad, Iraq.
Well, the #1 in global happiness. Now find out where I'm from. By the way, I like Israel and their people, even though I am Muslim.
Israeli love from Jamaica in the Caribbean.
Love Israel from Canada.
Love from Saudi Arabia. Israel is just great. Get over it, Muslims.
Love from Czech Republic.
It's good when individuals live in harmony. I agree. And you see, the whole world loves Israel. And I love leaving relevant YouTube comments. Yo, I be shoving eggs up my boyfriend's asshole because they're so cheap. Hey, you guys hear about this new actor, Jonathan Majors? I think he's got a big career ahead of him. Not as big as my respect for Israel, which has accomplished so much in so little time. I might even buy a house there if a bunch of property suddenly becomes available. Anyway, I'm out of here. Gotta go see Avengers Endgame at my local mom and pop theater that'll stay open forever. Shalom and post. Oh yeah, life is good. Life is good. I mean, I don't like our president right now, but whatever. This is the last time we're ever going to have to deal with him. Although I will say he has beautiful ears. Hope nothing ever happens to those. Anyway, what is there to do in Israel as a tourist? Well, I'm so glad you asked. 10 things not to do in Israel.
What?
Oh, never mind. This is what not to do. All right. Well, also good to know and play.
Know before you go. 1. Don't smoke on Saturday.
Well, how is that enforced? That sounds like bullshit.
If you must smoke, do it in private and far away from the Orthodox Jew.
Ooh, I do not like the way he said that.
2. Don't eat without tipping. In Israel, the wait staff at restaurants and cafes don't receive a salary, so they solely rely on the tips from generous patrons.
Okay, that also sounds like bullshit.
Orthodox Jews follow strict religious and social laws such as Nagia, restricting physical contact between those of the opposite sex.
Okay, so I just glanced at the comments and everyone else is saying this is bullshit too. 1, 2, 4, bullshit.
When you say Orthodox Jews, you're referring to the ultra-Orthodox. Most of us don't care what you're doing as long as you're not bothering us. I live in Israel and half the things are wrong.
Ironically, this time it's the Israelis who dislike the video and not pro-Palestinians who get triggered whenever they hear the word Israel.
Big BS on waiters not getting salary. Tips is a nice way of showing your appreciation for a good service. It's not mandatory.
What the fuck? It's allowed to.
So like the whole tipping thing, like in the United States and I guess in Israel also, tipping is a thing. Everywhere else, not really much of a thing.
Smoke inside of that.
Everything in this video is completely wrong.
And also, don't carry a stone in your hand.
Long live Palestine.
All right.
Don't carry a stone in your hand.
All right, let's keep it on topic here, guys. Great list, but I got a couple things to add. First, don't do what I did and pretend to be Jewish for the free birthright trip. They got foreskin-smelling dogs at the border, and you will be assaulted by teenage soldiers. The other thing you should never do in Israel is pick a fight, because all these motherfuckers know Krav Maga, and they'll knee you in the balls and then twist your arm around in its socket till it pops out like a USB drive, which, by the way, was invented in Israel. And hey, while you're there, pick up some cheap pagers. I don't know why they're so cheap over there, but I've been handing them out to my nephews for their birthdays. Anyway, here's hoping Israel's relationship with the rest of the world stays as healthy as Joe Biden's prostate. Israel.com/bigmoney for 10% off and advertise. Okay, next up, let's talk about Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin
No!
Ah, shit, who died? Bro, do not make this video. Huh? What kind of haircut ghost are you? I'm not a haircut ghost. I'm you from the future. And trust me, this lesson is a bad idea. People are gonna be pissed
Why would people be pissed at this video?
I can't tell you because space and time or something like that, but just don't make the video. Cut the camera, you know, go about your day, buy a bunch of NVIDIA stock, buy as much NVIDIA stock as you can. Just don't make the video and buy NVIDIA stock.
NVIDIA stock? What are you talking? Listen, man, as long as I'm not pissing off Israel, I think I'm gonna be okay.
No, dude, they're gonna be the most pissed off.
That really? Well, who else gets pissed off at this video?
Liberal arts college students.
Oh, I must say something horrible in this video.
No, not at all. In fact, you just say a bunch of really true stuff about Israel and make it sound like a good place to visit. But trust me, man, it's gonna age so poorly.
Ages poorly? What are you talking? I mean, I can't imagine what could possibly happen that would make this age. Oh, wait, I got an idea.
You're probably right. Let's just leave it at that. Let's not say it out loud, but yeah, you're probably right.
Oh man, still doing that, huh?
Yeah, something tells me this might be the last time.
Oh.
So anyway, are we good here to end the video? We don't want to get in the middle of this.
Yeah, no, fuck that. I'm not getting in the middle of it.
Awesome, man. You are doing yourself a huge favor here.
Well, hang on. What if I leave this part in and then I upload it?
You mean the part where I'm telling you not to make the video?
Well, doesn't that make it okay all of a sudden?
Yeah, but it's still sponsored by Israel, which is bad.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, what if we get another sponsor for this video?
What do you mean? Like you're gonna dub over for another sponsor for all the stuff you're saying about Israel? What other place could that possibly work for?
New York?
New York! Bro, you're a genius. It's too bad you're gonna lose a lot of that IQ when you get into a boxing match in 3 years.
I'm gonna what?
No, nothing. Just leave your fucking New York comment.
Okay.
I did watch his boxing
video I
match.
had queued up here.
He got his ass kicked.
Perfect. Hey, old New Yorkers, are you tired of living in a putrid city that smells like piss and shit all the time? Well, move to Israel. Come on, there's a bunch of you fucking New Yorkers there already. That way, young people in New York can stop relying on polyamorous relationships to afford rent, and you guys get to move right next to the beach like you planned to do in Florida before God started firing his hurricane machine gun across the Gulf of Mexico. Don't you want to get away from all the liberal bullshit that comes with living in New York? Aren't you sick of woke leftist scum like Russell Brand and Gwen Stefani ruining America? Bring your conservative values with you to Tel Aviv.
How the times have changed,
progressivism
man.
is still young enough to be stamped out. There's plenty of jobs for elderly New Yorkers in Israel too. Depending on how old you are, we'll probably give you a job where you're sitting most of the time, like inside the cockpit of an American fighter jet. Plus, Israel needs as many old New Yorkers as possible because they're the only ones who still support Netanyahu and his famously healthy blood cells. Look, all I'm saying is flights are cheap and they'll always be the safest way to travel. This comment is brought to you by New York and Israel, just like Jeffrey Epstein. And hey, New York may have its faults, but at least we'll never have a goddamn Muslim running things here. And post. All right, well, you think that's good? Bro, that is the perfect comment. Nobody is gonna get mad at us. Yeah, all right. Well, my job here is done. Time to go back and enjoy all that sponsor money.
Oh, hey, is there anything else I should know about? Like, anything crazy happen over the next, like, 6 or 7 years?
Oh, yeah. Get vaccinated.
Vaccinated? From what?
All right, see ya.
All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. I wouldn't worry about
could have been worse.
26 Eric over there. I'm sure he was just overreacting.
Oh, shit, what happened to you? Don't get vaccinated! Vaccinated from what?
Big money.
Money.
Oh, yeah, we get silly sometimes. Speaking of being silly, I guess.
Question for the masses is, so it was announced the other day that deli ham is now considered a class 1 carcinogen in the same category as cigarettes. So
All
my
right.
question for the masses is, how many cigarettes is one ham sandwich? Because if I knew that like they're equal, I've been having ham sandwiches where I should be having Newport 100s, and I would much rather have the Newport 100 than the ham sandwich. So like equivalency rate, like how does it translate? Like how many cigarettes is one ham sandwich, or like how many ham sandwiches is one cigarette? What's the conversion unit? Because I would want to know, you know? Just saying.
Oh, we should know. They should put it on the outside of the ham packet, right? Maybe we'll know soon. I don't know.
To America, they to Israel. What is your response to them? What is your in Iraqi parliament? Student, member slogan, they to America, they to Israel. What is your response to them? What is your message for Iraqi government?
What did he say?
In Iraqi parliament, slogan, date of America, date of Israel, member of the parliament.
Death to America, death to Israel. What's your response?
That's not a nice question.
In Iraqi parliament, student, member slogan, date to America, date to Israel. What is your response to them? What is your message for Iraqi government?
What did he say?
In Iraqi parliament.
In the Iraqi parliament, they're saying death to America, death to Israel. What is your comment?
Slogan, date of America, date of Israel. Member of the parliament.
Death to America, death to Israel. What's your response?
That's not a nice question.
Oh, I could watch that all day, actually. Yeah, anyways.
Straight. We don't. The United States.
Yeah.
With or without allies?
We're doing very well there. We're doing very well overall. You know, we don't use the straight. We don't. The United States. We don't need it.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Europe needs it. Korea, Japan, China, a lot of other people. So they'll have to get involved a little bit on that one.
They don't even use it, guys. While also crossing the Strait of Hormuz. That's what it looks like. Why wouldn't we just go across the land with an oil, people transporting oil on land? This was a great movie, by the way.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Oh, we're getting too silly. Yeah, Trump signals possible winding down. We already saw the winding down stuff. That's okay. Massive lines at the airport.
Give them this perspective. It's unbelievable. Thousands
After
and
Republicans
thousands of
blocked 7 bills to
just trying to get through
fund
the main
TSA.
TSA checkpoint. They have.
Yeah, that shit's cooked. We saw that earlier, actually.
Birth certificates out the bag! Out the bag!
ICE agents at airport on Monday.
Please step in front of the line. And if you're not white American, back of the line! I said back of the line! All passports, Social Security!
Literally what's happening right now. Man. Alright, what else we got?
Yeah, bro, they could pick that shit up.
Yeah.
Now I am not paying $9.
$9? Where?
Nowhere.
Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? Oh, by the way, it's 4:25.
Well, I can't lie to you. This gas is getting crazy in Georgia, bro.
$5.
Good Lord.
Fuck you, Donald Trump. Fuck you, Donald Trump. Fuck you, Benjamin Netanyahu. Fuck you, this shit.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
They put $1 in there.
Not gonna play with me, bro, because I'm not gonna play. And I don't got nothing to lose. I don't got no family, nigga. I don't got no kids, nigga. I don't got nothing, nigga.
Alright, bro. You can slow down. You can slow down.
Yeah, I think we might be cooked a little. Meanwhile.
As you can see, he is totally alive.
Hey, he's definitely alive. See?
As you can see, he is totally
looking good. He's looking good.
Whoa!
Oh yeah, this is the one they keep showing. Whoa.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Speed of light faster than the speed of sound.
Whoa!
This was the Demona strike, I think.
This just hit the first part. Wow! That is crazy. I just get. Wow!
Wow. Yeah. How did that happen?
Dance!
My name is Sigil, and they call me the dancing missile because every time they try to shoot me down, I dance!
This is silly.
Introduced by Iran in 2008.
I guess
I'm a
this is
medium-range
okay
ballistic missile.
for normies
but unlike
to watch.
others, I don't fly straight. Two-stage, solid fuel. I'm already stored and ready. No trucks, no setup. My launcher moves and hides constantly. By the time a satellite finds me, I'm already gone. March 15, 26. Yesterday, I finally entered this war and successfully hit my targets.
We got $3.99 here.
Defense systems predicted where I was
regular?
going and fired a rocket at that spot. But I changed direction on the way down. When the missile arrived, I was already somewhere else. Since my entry into this war,
This is basically
every news
how
channel is
hypersonic
talking about
missiles
me.
work,
I
yes.
stole the show, and I danced through every interceptor. So, am I unstoppable? Follow Wartoon. Every day, a new weapon, a new story. My name is Sigil, and they...
Basically what's happening. It came to AI rockets. This is bombardment in Iran. I don't know what they hit. They hit something big. Oh, I think this was when they bombed the nuclear sites. Jesus. Right. Those are some huge explosions. Yeah.
Clearly, I think you and I agree. We have both been critical of the Israeli government. I just want to kind of clarify terms.
Our future
here.
president.
I've really been critical of the Israeli government.
I've been plenty critical of the Israeli government. I've told you at the beginning that we were against
What do you
this
think of
war.
Gaza?
What do I think of Gaza?
Yeah.
I think the war in Gaza, to start with, was a perfectly reasonable response in response to the horrors of October 7th. I think now the places, I mean, I've been there. Have you been to Gaza? I've been to Gaza since the war started.
They would not
it's
let
catastrophic.
me into Gaza. Trust me, very few journalists get into Gaza.
Yeah, no, I went with the IDF. It's the only way that you can go in, but nonetheless you go in
No
and
way.
you see a flattened place. I think it is a disaster. A disaster.
No, a disaster is a hurricane. This is a fucking genocide. This is a man-made disaster. Tucker gearing up for 2028, Carlson. Yeah, we're
the future
fucked,
of
bro.
Israel, a disaster for the Palestinian people, a horror, 70,000 people dead.
Why would you describe it first as a disaster for the future of Israel?
What does that flat hand mean?
Of civilians murdered, but it's foremost a disaster for the future
No, I
of
didn't
Israel.
say
No, it's
foremost.
foremost a disaster for the families of the dead kids.
I made, absolutely, I made 3 points. So
Because
let me
everybody
just-
sucks up to Israel in this way that suggests they're afraid. And everyone is afraid, and you know that. Everyone's like, the real problem is calling people anti-Semites allows real anti-Semites to flourish. It's like, no, actually, the real problem with calling people anti-Semites who aren't is accusing the innocent of a crime they didn't commit. And the real crime in Gaza is killing people who did nothing wrong. So those are the real problems, I would say. But no one can say it because you have to be like, oh no, but really, October 7th
I don't know what you're talking about, Kaz. We're having a
Everyone watching this knows what I'm talking about. Everybody sucks up to Israel in this way.
Oh, why isn't this on the Middle East eye, man? Yeah, you know, we find better heroes, I guess, is all I can say. All right, we made it to the listening post.
The war on Iran and the way it's being covered. Starting with the U.S., where the White House says the journalism is insufficiently patriotic and there is talk of treason in the air. Censorship is taking place across the board, ranging from self-censorship to the kind imposed by some of the states involved. And we focus on Lebanon.
Around 20% of Lebanon is displaced as we speak.
Which Israel is threatening to turn into the next Gaza, and where its soldiers are running amok once again. This week brought significant developments in the U.S.-Israeli
Yeah, I mean,
war.
like this fucking like reporter over here, like this, who's this? The Economist editor in chief. He's like, oh, this looks bad for Israel. Gaza looks bad. Well, then why'd they fucking do it then, man? It seems like they really thoroughly enjoyed doing it. From all the videos that have been posted, that you guys don't want us to see, the social media posts that you want us to ignore, that people get banned for, that people get deplatformed for. It seems like the videos that they gleefully post, that the IDF gleefully post, people, defenders of Israel, don't want us to see them because they're like, oh, well, that doesn't really reflect the positive sides of Israel and the IDF. The IDF's a fucking genocidal maniac representation of a genocidal maniac state. There's not much more to it there.
On Iran, from the ongoing efforts to decapitate the leadership in Tehran, to the continued blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, and now major strikes on energy infrastructure across the region, bringing the conflict into a much more perilous phase. Our focus, as always here at The Listening Post, is on the journalism, what it's up against, the way the war is being covered. For reporters in the U.S., Israel, and Iran, the challenges differ, but they face the same reality. This war is escalating and has become a story in which propaganda, the projection of strength, can matter as much as military might does, which means that news organizations are under pressure from multiple sides, from vested interests shaping the narrative, to leaders who, for whatever reason, want to keep on fighting. The state.
Never forget, all of the news that you receive from major media outlets, even independent media outlets, there's always a vested interest that guides the way the news is presented to you. And that's kind of what I like about the Listening Post, even though it still is Al Jazeera, and Al Jazeera lately seems to be skewing more towards the Saudi perspective. They do analysis on media itself, right? Media literacy, understanding how and why news stories are delivered to you the way that they are, because there's always bias. There's always a bias. You could come across a news outlet that tells you that they're the no bias news outlet. There is still a bias because somebody is funding them. And whoever is funding them will continue funding them as long as they say the shit they want them to say. And that's the way the news works in the world. Whether it's state-sponsored news outlets or whether it's capitalist funded news outlets. And if your state is also capitalist, then guess what? Your news is also state-funded. So everything is related.
Stakes are growing by the
especially
day,
the information you receive
that this story
and the information that you don't receive, because a lot of the times the information that is omitted is just as important, if not even more important, than the information that you are receiving.
Could be affected by the decisions being made not just in war rooms but in newsrooms.
The fog of war, the media war, the information war is very important for all sides to try to shape the narrative, especially in the United States, with increased pressure by the administration to shut down certain conversations critical of the war.
Their leaders are gone, and we could do a lot worse.
We could do
Americans
a lot
know
worse.
all about their corporate media outlets, self-censoring at times.
I thought he meant performance-wise, but he meant killing them
censorship
wise.
imposed from above by the government. It is nothing new to Iranians where such restrictions are a fact of life. And whenever Israel finds itself at war, usually by starting one, journalists have to deal with military censors, telling them what they can or cannot report. But Americans have never had someone like Brendan Carr, who heads the U.S. broadcast regulator, threaten to pull the licenses of news outlets over their critical coverage of the war. At no time have they had a secretary of war, let alone
These motherfuckers are so cream puff, they went after fucking Jimmy Kimmel, man. Come on.
And who rants the way Pete Hegseth has, instructing journalists on the kind of spin America's latest war effort requires.
For example, a banner or a headline, Mideast war intensifies. What
Cream puff little bitch,
instead?
bro.
How about Iran increasingly desperate?
Why aren't you saying the things we want you to
Donald Trump
say?
went further than that, saying some journalists should be charged with treason, a crime that in the U.S. is punishable by death.
The United States has very strong and broad protections for what you can actually publish if you're a member of the media, much more so than other Western countries. So they're going to find it hard to make good on this threat. But at the same time, just the fact that they're able to make this threat can have the intimidatory effect that they're looking for and lead media outlets to self-censor.
The U.S. government expects
the self-censorship is the important
by
piece
a
here.
Mobilized media to advance the interests of the state rather than any considerations for professional journalistic standards. Although the Gaza genocide, much of the corporate media in the United States willingly forfeited its professional responsibilities.
All wars empower authoritarian tendencies, strengthen authoritarian moves. The war is also shutting down a free flow of information in Israel, ramping up the repression tactics.
You know, the most self-incriminating thing about the media during the war on Gaza is these journalists, these reporters, watching their friends, watching their co-workers, their mirror selves in Gaza get fucking annihilated every fucking day as they try to report the news there. And then they do nothing about it, man. These fucking outlets, these media outlets that report this shit, and then they omit that people have died. They omit that their colleagues have been murdered by the IDF. They're despicable, man. It's disgusting. You would think that journalists would stand together and actually report the news, but no, they fear for their own lives instead, and they have no integrity.
In Iran, but for America, whose exceptionality lies in the free speech and the First Amendment. This represents more of a threat because US society could move to look more like our adversaries than ourselves.
Or like their ally in this war, Israel. Military censorship there goes back decades. Journalists have had to deal with it during the genocide in Gaza, the ongoing attacks on Lebanon, but the conflict over Iran has deepened those restrictions. They now go beyond the clampdown on live coverage. The images Israelis are able to see of projectiles incoming from Iran.
The Israeli government does not allow us or want us to show where
they don't show the bad things. They only show the good things.
What Israelis are able to know.
Otherwise, jail.
The very real concern that they have been depleted and that Israeli lives are now at risk because of that. The Netanyahu government does not want those vulnerabilities out there.
We're watching from above.
And the reporting is censored accordingly.
The Israeli military and the media shape everything.
This is a lot of the reason as to why when you see missile falls coming into Israel, you only see the missiles from a distance because it's kind of hard to trace where that is, right? But if somebody runs up on a missile where the fragments have landed, or where a missile hit a major spot or a major building, and they start recording and they start uploading it, Israel knows exactly who that person is. They're gonna trace that, and if they don't know it right away, they're gonna trace it down, and then they're gonna find that motherfucker. That's why we don't get the on the ground reports of of what's actually happening. And what we do get presented, when we do get presented it, is what the government allows us to see, what the government allows to escape its borders, media wise. So it's a very controlled narrative of what the damage is inside of Israel. And I think a lot of countries are learning from that, because we've seen Iran themselves completely shut off the internet, and only a select few have access. The internet's been shut off for a very long time. People have problems contacting their relatives and whatnot, but it sucks. It sucks overall, because I think the world is learning from Israel's lessons of what they can get away with and what they've done. So it only gets worse from here.
Everything that Israelis understand about the war. Certain live broadcasts have been shut down, and the police have actually been out searching for...
And if they haven't been shut down, they get fucking bombed.
For certain journalists, so there's a lot more...
While they're recording
and
or setting up.
Israeli journalists who don't comply can suffer from, serious penalization, arrest, equipment being taken away. But the truth is that Israeli journalists, most of them comply anyway, basically echoing the military narrative. They don't really question it.
We have numerous military analysts who have been stating for months that depletion is a real risk. But if you look at the Israeli media, this is being presented as not factual information. I put my trust on military analysts who have repeatedly concluded that interceptors are in increasingly short supply, and that replenishing them is going to be...
I mean, they're sending a guy to Washington to ask for more interceptors. It's pretty obvious that they're running low.
Difficult task.
And a big part of it is, information warfare, psychological warfare, propaganda. There were reports in the last few days that Netanyahu was assassinated, and it was all over the internet, even though there was not even a target of that kind as far as I know. But a lot of people started to believe that. And so the downside from the Israeli perspective of putting so much crackdown is that people start believing all types of things because there's no truth coming out.
Iran is out to...
That's why I don't think it's a bad thing.
Its police chief
I don't think it's a bad thing to
500
believe
citizens have been arrested this past week for sharing information to, quote, hostile entities.
They're not giving us enough
which likely
information.
Includes foreign
so
news
why not
outlets.
speculate?
Tehran has allowed some of those news teams into the Islamic Republic, CNN and Sky News, but has walled off others like Iran International, which has far more viewers in Iran than Western outlets do. The Persian language channel that operates in exile out of London often provides a platform for Reza Pahlavi,
yeah, they're in the
son
UK.
Of the former Shah, who wants his family to return.
If you ever see Iran International, if you ever see this logo, these guys are anti-regime, pro-Israel, basically.
Power. The channel has also
pro-Western
been known to cozy
intervention
up to the Israelis.
I believe in you. I respect you. I admire you. I know that Iran can be great again.
Iran is a deeply polarized society. You have liberal Iranians, some of whom were actually in favor of foreign strikes, and you have deeply committed Iranians supporting the government's war efforts. You have outside influence operations, the Mossad and media networks such as Iran International. And so Iran has tried to clamp down on that by criminalizing any kind of citizen statement to these foreign channels to try to shut down the leaks.
Iran has arrested several hundred people now and claims that they were leaking to the enemy. In wartime, espionage is regularly lobbed against not actual spies, but against journalists in an attempt to clamp down on inconvenient information getting out. They say, you're a foreign agent, we're going to put you in prison.
For all the lack of press freedom that the Iranian media has to endure, and the restrictions that foreign media in Iran are compelled to accept.
We came overland, among the only international journalists currently allowed in.
Iran has provided foreign media more access in Iran during wartime than Israel ever allowed in the Gaza Strip. For more than 2 years now, Israel has systematically prevented the entry of a single foreign correspondent into the Gaza Strip, unless basically going as an adjunct of the Israeli military.
Yeah, unless they went on a guided tour with the IDF, and even then,
30% of Americans
it's fucking
approve of this war. At the outset of the Iraq War, the
destruction.
opposite was true. More than 70% supported it. Getting a country onto a war footing requires groundwork, militarily and psychologically. And John Bolton, who was the national security advisor during Donald Trump's first term,
the fucking Lorax, dude.
A notorious war hawk,
the pro-war Lorax.
Worked under George W. Bush. Last week, he told National Public Radio that one of the White House's failings on Iran was not, quote, preparing the American people ahead of the attack. the way he and the Bush administration did in 2003.
Yeah, also he hates Trump because Trump went after him.
When the U.S. media also played a major role, helping to push the bogus claims of Iraqi WMDs. Donald Trump is not seeing the same complicity in the coverage this time around. For the president and his administration, that's unpatriotic. Hence, the threats against journalists, the loose talk of treason.
What does any desperate leader who has launched a war that's gone them into hot water do? They resort to threats to try to silence the people who are reporting about this, rather than stop the root of the problem, which is the decision to go to war. And we should be very glad that reporters are not listening to the demands for a patriotic press. The highest level of patriotism really is the willingness to scrutinize an irresponsible and reckless government that is steering the country into disaster. That's what true patriotism is, I think.
A major part of this is propaganda. The media forming and controlling narratives, but it also means that programs such as yours are more important than ever, because ultimately the narrative that prevails ensures which side lasts longer in this conflict.
Israel is continuing its targeting of Iranian political leaders, killing 3 more senior figures there. Much of the coverage in Israel and across international media has ranged from the triumphalist to the awestruck, largely sidestepping the legal matter of how these assassinations violate international law. Meenakshi Ravi is here with more.
Extrajudicial killings have long been a central tactic of the Israeli state. This past week, Israel announced it had killed 3 senior figures, including the Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, Ali Larijani. The news
they really don't want regime change like Venezuela.
Long
arm of the Israeli intelligence. We killed a bunch of people. And security forces reach everyone. Our intelligence system is very good. We saw that this morning with the targeted killings.
Beyond Israel, much of the media coverage focused on the sophistication of the operation. The intelligence gathering.
That's the same thing like the Netanyahu video that we watched earlier. They concentrate on how good their intelligence is, not that they're fucking murdering civilians.
The covert planning, the execution. What was largely missing was any serious discussion of legality. No state is authorized to kill a civilian from another country.
Exactly.
Even one in political office. Even one accused of ordering violence.
What about our nuclear scientists?
Reporting on Larijani, the focus has been on his record, including his role in ordering the mass killing of Iranian protesters in January this year.
He was eliminated. Why this is important? Because this is the person who was in charge.
Like he fucking lost a fucking competition, like a TV show competition.
Coverage like this
He
is part of a
engineered the
wider
ferocious
pattern.
crackdowns
When
on
the
protests.
Israelis kill their political enemies, 2 things are foregrounded. The sophistication of Israeli intelligence, particularly Mossad, and the crimes of those targeted.
Exactly.
Social media posts like this one make the rounds. Benjamin Netanyahu, alongside US Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, taking pleasure in crossing names off a list of targets.
So it's a punch card. Today I raised 2 names on the punch.
I encourage you to check out this book. Rise and Kill First. Israel has a huge list of assassinations that it's done to civilians.
Punch cards. And you see how many more to go.
They try to legitimize every single
Killing
one.
as a numbers game, where targets are counted, names are erased, and the question of legality disappears.
Thanks, Meena. There are millions of other people directly suffering the effects of this war without attracting much media coverage. The people of Lebanon. Israeli forces have begun ground operations there, and many fear that their goal is to occupy once again the southern part of the country. 1 out of 5 Lebanese citizens has already been forced from their homes. The UN says Israel has wounded or killed the equivalent of 1 classroom of school children per day. having destroyed entire residential buildings in the middle of Beirut.
Insane, man.
And bombed civilian infrastructure to isolate the south. Israel has also showered Lebanon with propaganda leaflets, boasting openly that it will turn the country into the new Gaza. One news outlet covering these developments is the Beirut-based Megaphone. Its co-founder and managing director, Jean Kassir, joins me now. The Israelis have forcibly displaced hundreds of thousands of people across a broad patch of South Lebanon. Talk to us about what's happening down there and how effectively are journalists able to report from that area?
Yeah, thanks for having me. To start, to give some fact and figures, around 20% of Lebanon is displaced as we speak. So it's 1 million people out of a 6 million people country. It's extremely difficult to report from the south. Israel is clearly trying to isolate the south. This comes after marking entire areas that amount to 15% of Lebanon in red on the map, which basically means an evacuation order for everybody within those areas, including a big city like Tyre and entire villages. So the intention is very clear. Nobody should get close to the south. It's extremely difficult to have an actual verification process and getting images that are directed from there. The only journalists who are still daring to go there, most of them are foreign journalists, and most of them have to do it within a security framework. So either within the army or within also some tours organized by Hezbollah, or within special missions that are basically supported or protected by security personnel.
The Israelis are also bombarding the Lebanese with propaganda, with psychological warfare. Walk us through some of the things that they're doing on that score. How reminiscent is this of what we've seen in Gaza? Talk to us about some of the similarities, maybe the differences.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start by saying the differences, like Gaza is a genocide, and it's very important out of respect for what the Palestinian people endured, not to make false comparisons. But the similarities, unfortunately, do exist. It starts with the mass evacuation, basically overnight asking the entire southern suburb of Beirut, which amounts maybe to half of Manhattan, to evacuate. It created a panic among people who flocked to the streets and ended up sleeping in their cars that night. The same happened with the evacuation order I mentioned in the entire southern Litani area. This also is coupled with fake calls asking for evacuation of specific building, which contributed psychological warfare. Add to it the constant buzzing of the drones above our heads, which creates a lot of ambient anxiety in the city, and this preceded the current escalation post-March 2. And finally, what we've witnessed a couple of days ago, which is the leaflets that were dropped from the sky from the warplanes, and those leaflets ask basically the Lebanese to scan a QR code and to join information WhatsApp groups that the Israeli army manages. We should also add to it the discourse of Israeli ministers such as Smotrich, who clearly threatened to turn the southern suburb of Beirut, Dahye, into a new Khan Yunis, which adds to a lot of rhetoric of erasure and annihilation that has been coming out of a lot of Israeli officials when talking about Lebanon. And finally, we have the media phenomenon, which is Avichai Adrai, the former Arabic-speaking spokesperson of the Israeli army, which constantly not only threatens the Lebanese through those evacuation orders, but also engages with critics
used to be a lot
that
fatter.
are coming out of social media, which creates further fear. Imagine a person working for the Israeli army responding
gave him the
to
Zep-bound or
a
what?
meme, or responding to a joke that a comedian, for example, or a social media commentator would say about you. On the one hand, it tries to create some familiarity with the Lebanese audience, but on the other hand, I personally feel that it's extremely threatening. It means that they're observing, it means that they're very much aware of all the conversation going on in Lebanon's social media landscape. And finally, they try a lot to weaponize the legitimate criticism that exists in Lebanon against Hezbollah for their own propaganda and for their own discourse that they're here to liberate, while we all know that Lebanon has always been under threat from Israel way before the existence of Hezbollah.
Well, let's dig into that angle right now, the way Hezbollah is perceived in Lebanon. There was a government directive this past week issued to state-run news outlets not to call the organization a, quote, resistance group. So how is Hezbollah perceived by the Lebanese people, by the government there, by the media?
That's how they started.
I mean, it's very important to
They started because the U.S. murdered their fucking families, man. The U.S. and Israel murdered their families, so they started a resistance group.
And this division is not necessarily related to our stance toward Israel. I think most Lebanese do not see in Israel any potential ally. The overwhelming majority sees Israel as an aggressor. But the dispute is around Hezbollah's role. Hezbollah is multifaceted. Hezbollah used to be a very
political party
resistance movement up until the year 2000. Until it decided to become more hegemonic at the Lebanese level. And a lot of people who opposed Hezbollah's hegemony in Lebanon paid a very heavy price, including being killed. Another point of disagreement is Hezbollah's deep connection with the Iranian regime. And this is something that created a lot of backlash when the rockets were fired on March 2nd, because it was seen as a direct support for the regime at a time where Hezbollah remained quite passive over a year, when we had more than 10,000 Israeli violation of the ceasefire. We didn't see any rocket being fired. So there is a lot of attention around Hezbollah's role and Hezbollah's motives when it comes to its regional affiliation and also its local hegemony project.
Given all of that, Jean, the context, the politics, how freely are Lebanese journalists able to report on Hezbollah? Are there restrictions? Are there red lines, formal, informal? Is there censorship or self-censorship at play?
I mean, we're in a country that's deeply divided, so this kind of allows for a margin of criticism against the other party. This doesn't mean that Hezbollah has ever been a big fan of freedom of expression. I mean, a lot of journalists paid a very heavy price for their critical stances, the latest being Lokman Slim. But today, as we speak, the main threat on journalists is coming from Israel, because in the 2024 war, we had several of our colleagues that were assassinated, starting with Issam Abdullah, the photojournalist. I'm not saying this to deflect the attention that Hezbollah has a clear authoritarian and hegemonic tendencies, but as we speak today, the main threat is coming from Israel.
The work that you do at Megaphone focuses on documenting everyday life under attack. Give us an idea of a recent story that has stood out for you, and how do these kinds of stories challenge the narrative that's out there on Lebanon of a fragmented or collapsing country?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't pick one, but I would pick maybe a theme that we're covering, which is the...
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't shown this video. Yeah, a British journalist in Lebanon got targeted by the IDF. This is literally like days ago. Fucking insane, man.
Fucking hell. Fuck. Wait.
This is what the IDF does, though. Israeli enemy targeted us deliberately. We're at the bridge while wearing our official press uniform. Yeah, that is what they do. That's what they've done in Gaza. Is them getting the shrapnel removed.
هذه شظيرة أصيب فيها الزميل ستيفن مراسل روسيا اليوم بعد طبعا نحن بمستشفى بعد إصابته باستهداف جسر الأسمية الأطباء عم يحاولوا.
Should have seen what happened to Hassam Shabbat. Yeah, where's the oh man, it went all the way up. Alright, never mind.
Amazing grassroots solidarity efforts. Lebanon is kind of forgotten in this regional conflict. There's not a lot of money that's coming in, like it was the case in the 2024 war. it's still a country that is suffering from a very acute economic collapse. So people have been impoverished for the last,
it's weird that our ally is known
but
for
still,
murking the most
despite
journalists in all
the
wars.
polarization that exists, despite
The greatest of all time in fucking killing journalists. And we cozy up to them, and we do wars for them. Well, they want to start a war. Well, we're right there next to them, man. Hell yeah, let's go. Let's go. We're in this together. Why is that? The U.S. doesn't necessarily kill journalists. We just, threaten them and then silence them and then jail them.
Intentions that exist, we still find like remarkable solidarity efforts that are happening at the grassroots level, from community kitchens to initiatives that are providing shelter for migrant domestic workers or for queer people or for people who are not a part of the map of aid, to personal initiatives from restaurants or from shops that are providing washing machines for people.
Hey, it sounds like communism, man. What the fuck?
All sorts of grassroots initiatives. This is something that is showing a picture of the country.
You're telling me they're just feeding people and cleaning them for free?
This is what I would call it. At times, the level of division in Lebanon makes you feel that this is an impossible equation.
Anarcho-communism.
But when you see the solidarity happening,
the anarcho part caused by Israel.
All forms of political divisions that exist. This is the kind of narrative that Megaphone is showing. We're not denying the divisions, but we're showing another facet of Lebanese society, one that is determined to be resistant to any form of aggression and to also provide aid and consider that any Lebanese displaced is a person that concerns us all.
Jean Kassir, Managing Director of Megaphone, thanks for speaking with us here at the Listening Post today.
Thank you.
And finally, another disturbing similarity between what is taking place in Lebanon and what Israeli soldiers showed of themselves in Gaza on social media.
Yeah.
Once again, they are documenting through their phone cameras their appetite for looting homes, stealing personal property, playing with what they find there, including women's lingerie. All to further humiliate the Lebanese people they have already displaced or killed.
They are not fucking like distancing themselves from the Epstein's Fury title. Same shit they did in Gaza, exactly. Bunch of fucking weirdos acting just like they're fucking idols, man.
Their behavior relies on impunity, allowing these soldiers to share these videos with no regard to the potential consequences, because in Gaza, there were none. The videos also serve as a reminder that in many cases, these are not full-time soldiers. There are thousands of reservists involved. They come from every corner of Israeli society, people who will soon return to civilian life, their day jobs, like this character. A doctor whose job it is to preserve Israeli lives when he is not taking and dehumanizing the lives of the other, and then bragging about it on social media.
The more things change, the more they stay the same, right? Yeah.
I will go visit the doctor post.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of the doctor.
My chest feels quite odd and I do feel a bit lightheaded. I will go visit the doctor post-haste and have this matter resolved immediately. I'm fine. It's just nothing, it's just the sniffles. I'm sure it'll go away on its own. It'll go away on its own. It's totally nothing. Everybody coughs up blood every now and then. It's perfectly fine. It's normal. Everybody collapses on the floor every now and then. It's perfectly normal. I mean, I don't need two hands, right?
What if a dog bites my hand?
If I don't take care of it now, it'll get worse, and that will be more expensive. But if I die, that's free. I can hear my arteries clogging, but I'm sure a gummy...
Beat comedy, yeah.
What if the doctor just yells at me?
Yeah, what if the doctor just yells at me?
Only cost half.
And then I gotta pay him a lot of money. Just yell at me. Then I feel bad. And I'm still sick.
Wouldn't want to miss work now.
Hold on, what was it?
So I can go to work at the work factory.
At the work factory.
Miss work now, would I? Santa, Santa, Colito, there ran a Sino Santa, I will be fine, manana.
There's no way he's Mexican, man. Sana Sana Colita de Rana? No way.
My chest feels quite odd, and I do feel a bit lightheaded. I will
Could've
go
guessed.
visit the doctor post-haste and have this matter resolved immediately. I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine.
Yeah, dude. Anyway. Oh, no, I'll save that one. Alright, I'm gonna call it here. Yeah, fuck it.
Problem now. I'm being pushed into the arms of Iran. Those types of Muslims. What are those ones called? Shia. I'm Shia now. I was gonna be Sunni. I think Saudi is Sunni and Iran.
Oh no, I can't play the video anymore. What happened? Where'd it go? Israel, chill out.
Pushed into the arms of Iran.
I'm
Those
Shia
types of
now.
Muslims. What are those ones called? Shia. I'm Shia now. I was gonna be Sunni. I think Saudi
Was
is
gonna be Sunni.
and Iran is Shia. Right? Yes? Maybe? I'm Shia now. Shiite? Right?
Shia.
That's what I am now because you've done this to me. You fired me and created a Shia problem. I'm a Shiite problem now.
They cut out the biatch part. It says biatch right here. I'm a Shia problem now, biatch. Yes, no, maybe so. Yeah. Hey, who knows? Freedom to choose, right? All right, everybody have a good night. It's midnight. Yeah. Call it here. Oh, dude. Okay. So I do. The PC company offered to replace my PC basically because it failed. That's why I couldn't stream Saturday night like I usually do. So they're like, okay, if you take the memory and the hard drive out, we'll send you the rest of the PC. Just send us the bare bones. So I think I'm gonna take them up on that offer. So yeah, I gotta do a little operation. Probably won't be live this weekend. But you know, ensuring future operations, right? We'll get it figured out. No King's protest this weekend. All right, I can do that.
Johnny's in America.
Johnny's in America.
Johnny's in America.
Throw bricks, not legal advice. But you know, hey, also, if you feel like throwing a brick, hey, I can't stop you. All right. Depends on how you want to get your message across. And you have the freedom to choose. Magician's brick, right? You throw the brick into the air where it lands. All right, everybody have a good night. I will see you next time.